Welcome to Birmingham TV, I'm Talita Barnett and on with today's headlines. Brian Connolly is weighing anchor and setting sail for Birmingham Hippodrome. A father of three has been jailed for 8 years after being rumbled with nearly £1.7 million of cocaine stashed in a consignment of pop bottles. A tasty bid to gain protector status for Birmingham's world-famous Balti has been lodged with the government. A sister of a woman found murdered in a Birmingham park 38 years ago has called for police to bring investigation and bring her killer to justice. The government has been warned of a crisis in care for the elderly following a survey of social care workers by the University of Birmingham. And Callum Ryder tips the scales at 2 stone 11 pounds at the age of just 3 years old at 4 feet 4 inches tall. A tasty bid to gain protected status for Birmingham's world-famous Balti has been lodged with the government. If granted, the name Birmingham Balti will receive the same level of European protection as other regional specialities, like the Cornish pasty, by pinning down the dishes, recipe and cooking method. Andy Munro, an advisor to the Asian Balti restaurant, drew up the bid for the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs with 6 city restaurants. He said, "I've been in a consortium of 6 restaurants to put the bid together and I picked the 6 who did it the genuine way." A Balti enthusiast, Andy's mum, was a nanny in the 1920s for the original owners of the Verswamis and the first Indian restaurant in the UK. The sister of a woman found murdered in a Birmingham park 38 years ago has called for a new police investigation to finally bring her killer to justice. Devoutly religious Barbara Forrest, aged 20, was raped and strangled before her body was hidden in the fringes of Pipe's Park on May 27, 1974. Work colleague Michael Thornton was later charged with killing but acquitted after the trial after a judge heard there was no evidence to support the link of his murder. Now Barbara's sister Erica has broken the near 40-year silence to demand to know why evidence gathered at the scene was not being re-examined for the DNA and a cold case review undertaken. She and her elderly parents want an answer after West Midlands police spokesman said that the force could not comment whether the DNA from the case exists, adding there is no further forensic opportunities to explore. Erica, aged 63, said they certainly did have samples and if they had been lost, somebody should have told us. Erica and her parents, Margaret, 88, and Gordon, 91, from Corby, Northants, have given up their hope that there will be a breakthrough in the case, which has sparked national headlines at the time. Barbara, a member of the St Mark's Lutheran Church in Cars Lane, vanished after a bank holiday night out with boyfriend Simon Bleacher. The pair had visited the pubs in the city centre and Handsworth. Simon, then 21, walked Barbara to the Colmore Circus bus stop at 1 AM to catch the number 67, but she never made it home. On June 4th, her body was found less than 500 yards from her home in Chester, Erdington, and stone's throw from her workplace at Pipe's Children's Home. The government has been warned of a crisis in the care for the elderly following a survey of social care workers of the University of Birmingham. Unison said ministers should ensure councils were given the funding they needed to keep the daycare centres running amid widespread closures and cuts. Closing them was described as a false economy because they provided much needed respite for carers as well as monitoring and improving the physical and mental health of users. A survey of the social care workers in more than 100 areas of England, Wales and Scotland for the Union by the University's Health Service Management Centre showed that 57% had seen the day centres close down. Services for the elderly people were the hardest hit, followed by those for people with learning and physical disabilities, said Unison. More than half said that they were unaware more changes would be made to the future, and 2/3 reported increasing charges, attendance, meals and transports, with some centres stopping the provision of fresh meals entirely. Many of these surveys said that fees had risen substantially, often growing from a minimal charge to as much as £50 per day. Callum Ryder tips the scales at 2 stone 11 pounds and stands 3 foot 4 inches tall. But Solihull's council public health team still told his parents, Claire and Paul, that he weighed too much. The authority later launched an investigation after admitting the letter was sent in error, but the couple blasted the mistake. The warehouse worker, Paul, aged 32, from Kingshurst, said, "You only have to look at Callum to see he is not fat." The error emerged after a Birmingham Mail told how a 5-year-old Lily James was branded overweight after being weighed as part of the National Child Measurement Programme, which monitors reception class and Year 6 pupils. The Selly schoolgirl's parents called the result a joke and challenged anyone looking at the photos of her to say that she looked unhealthy. All said that Callum, a pupil at Kingshurst Primary, played a football from Kingshurst SC under 6, side twice a week, and weekly street dance and swimming lessons also. A council spokeswoman said, "We have discovered his letter was sent in error and has apologised to Mr and Mrs Ryder." So that was your news headlines for this week for the Birmingham area. Join us again next week for your news roundup on Birmingham TV.